Yo, welcome to the Table Talk podcast, where we sit down, pull up a chair, and we get started. This podcast is designed to provide you packed full of information to help you with your training, nutrition, lifestyle, and well-being, where we interview myself through case studies to give you lifetime experience. And then we also interview high-performing individuals or other career-focused people who are looking to make changes in their lifestyle, training, nutrition, and well-being. So let's pull up that chair and let's go. Yo, welcome to Training, Accountability, and Mastery and Upskill. So today we have a special guest with Harry Orr, who is the owner, founder, and the mastermind behind Primal Energies. So there's a product called Lucid and there's a product called Relax. And there's a few exogenous products known as the BJ. Yes, he is the man giving out BJ to everyone and anyone that wants it. What is that? That is brain juice, correct? Brain juice. So, a lot of us have heard cacao is a product. So if you looked at natural occurring magnesium, there's like bugger all in dairy milk chocolate. Once you start to go at around 50-60% dark chocolate, you're getting more cacao, which has natural occurring magnesium. And there are rarer forms of cacao. And Harry's the man who makes a product mixed with some mushrooms, some good mushrooms, not your store-bought ones, and ancient cacao. So it's a richer source, which has more nutrients in it. And he's created a product called Brain Juice. So it helps to, one, calm the body, but also get a cognitive boost as well. And I heard about this product. I don't know if I've told Harry, but a long time ago, I heard about this product and I was like, oh, this is going to be a game changer. And I used to probably once a month hear about Lucid and its cognitive benefits and boost the immune system because I didn't want to have to take pills all the time. Because back then I was doing alpha GPC, L-theanine, I was taking taurine, tyrosine at night, taking heaps of capsules. I was taking about 20 capsules to get coffee with a coffee. I was like, there's got to be a better way. And I used to do powdered forms of mushroom, which tasted awful. And I heard of this product, and every month I would hear about it, and I would look for it. And I couldn't find Lucid. There is a cognitive product called Lucid. But it wasn't the one I wanted. And long and behold, about 6 months later, I found out the company was called Primal Energies. And that's when I was like, Yeah. And then here we are. So today we're here to learn more about, Primal Energies in itself and its natural form. So if you're someone who's, I'd love to hear about for kids as well. But if you've got kids, you don't want to be giving them pills, but you want to look to boost their immune system and boost their bodies. And also for adults, and this is the guy to talk to. So that's what we're going to be learning about today. So Harry, take it away. Tell us, how did it all start?
So thank you, my friend. So I've always had an interest in like the holistic, the natural way of supporting health, optimizing performance. And like Carl, I've been through my period of taking crazy amounts of capsules, of supplements, of pills, and you walk around feeling like a somewhat legal, somewhat illegal pharmacy with everything rattling around. And about 3.5 years ago now, a friend introduced me to mushrooms, like medicinal mushrooms, because we were heavily focused on trying to get better sleep, trying to improve the nervous system. And then I think naturally everyone wants better brain function. I don't think anyone's going to say like, no, you know what? I'm actually pretty good. My memory is tip top. I can remember everything. And like, it's amazing. Everyone wants better brain function. Everyone wants more energy. And so I gave these mushrooms a try and was extremely impressed that almost instantly I was able to feel relaxed, that my sleep was improving, that I had more clarity and less brain fog just by using a mushroom, just by using this mushroom extracts. And then so I went down that rabbit hole of, well, if it's just a mushroom, how do you grow mushrooms? How do you make a tincture? And then so I followed that path down. And before this, in another lifetime, I was a chef. And so obviously part of being a chef is pairing flavors and textures together to enhance the desired effect on the customer, on the consumer. And so with that in mind, I was used that frame of, well, I'm using this mushroom to improve the nervous system, to reduce stress and anxiety, and to improve sleep. So what other natural ingredients or herbs do we have that also support that usage? And so started experimenting with a couple of different blends, came up with the the blends that I now have today, and have just progressively made them stronger, fine-tuned the ratios and everything like that until we've got to this point. And so the Relax blend that Carl mentioned is a blend of the Reishi mushroom, which is known as the mushroom of immortality, because it's used for the immune system, for anxiety, for stress, for blood pressure, for heart health, for like a stack of different things. And then I've paired that with rhodiola, which has some pretty impressive research behind it around reducing anxiety and improving mood and mental health, and as well as chamomile, which, you know, a lot of people generally have chamomile tea as a way to relax at the end of night. And so for anyone that listens to Andrew Huberman, he suggests using apigenin as a sleep stack. And so apigenin is the derivative from chamomile. That's where it kind of comes from. And so that's the blend that I've coined for sleep and relaxation. And then the Lucid blend for brain health, for enhancing cognitive demand, is lion's mane, which has been shown to help with focus, help with not just the performance of the brain, but also the overall health of the brain. They've used extracts of that for people that have dementia and Alzheimer's, and have seen some improve in that space, which is like pretty freaking impressive. And then so I've paired that with blueberry extract and Bacopa monnieri, which is an Ayurvedic herb, again used for focus and clarity. And so the cool thing about both of those blends is that whilst one is for relaxing and one is for, you know, focus, it's non-stimulatory and it's non-drowsy. So with the Relax blend, if someone is overly stimulated or overly anxious, maybe during the day, maybe they've had a meeting that didn't go so well, maybe they've had too much caffeine or something, you can have that, and it just helps bring you back down to baseline, which is personally what I like so much about it. Because, you know, if you go too, for me personally, if I go too far from baseline, that's when I get irritable, I get very erratic, and it makes me very unproductive. And so being able to come back to that focused present state allows me to get more work done. And then at the end of the day, if I'm still using that same supplement, then I can compare that with the rest of my sleep routine, like the blue light blocking glasses, like the magnesium, and, you know, any other supplements there, and then wind down for bed. And then so the other supplement, the other blend, I should say, that the Carl mentioned, the BJ, the brain juice, is a blend of the lion's mane extract with cordyceps extract, which is used for stamina and energy and endurance, and ceremonial grade cacao, which is one of the highest forms of cacao you can get. And that is basically like a coffee alternative. I wouldn't say coffee replacement, because it's not going to give you the peak in energy like coffee will, but it's that alternative that, okay, I've already had my 1 to 2 cups of coffee for the day. I know that if I have another one, I'm going to maybe feel anxious, have an upset stomach, or be a little bit jittery, or it's towards the end of the afternoon. I've still got a few sessions to go. I've still got more tasks to do that require me to learn, to be cognitively switched on. And I want something, I want a bit of a boost, but I don't want something that's going to compromise my sleep or that's going to have those other effects. And so even with like brain juice, you can have that at 3, 4, maybe even 5 in the afternoon, and in the day on a high without it compromising your sleep. So that's and it's got made from high quality cacao, so chocolate, so it tastes amazing as well. So that was the frame behind designing that and how I use it with people. Any restrictions or contradictions which may at first when they use it. So for the Relax blend, people that have low blood pressure are advised to be cautious of it, just because that is something that it can lower. So if you're already taking medication or already have low blood pressure, then it's something to be wary of. Either don't take both at the same time or go and talk to your doctor about it. When it comes to the lion's mane, not to my knowledge, not from the research that I've done, I haven't found anyone that would have adverse effects to that, obviously provided that you're not allergic to any of the ingredients in there. And the same for the brain juice as well. One of the most common questions I get around the brain juice is from pregnant women that can't have coffee, or they want to reduce their coffee because of the baby and things like that. So they're like, can I have brain juice? Can I have the mushrooms? And there's like a two-pronged answer to that. So first of all, with the extracts, then there is a little bit of ethanol in them because the benefits need to be extracted via alcohol and hot water. So in the tinctures, there is a bit of ethanol. It's only 0.3 to 0.4 of a mil per serve. So it's not a whole lot. And it depends on your stance on that. If you want to completely eradicate it, then okay, that's maybe not your best option. You want to go for like powdered mushroom extracts instead. But then when it comes to the brain juice as a replacement for coffee for pregnant women and people that are trying to get rid of that, there's no, from my understanding and my readings, there's no evidence to say that it would negatively impact the mother or the baby. But because, like a lot of traditional Chinese ancient tradition, I guess, ingredients, it doesn't have enough research to confidently say that it is safe. It gets pulled into that, use at your own risk type bucket. Though my wife was drinking it while she was breastfeeding with our son, and I don't know, he doesn't have autism or anything like that yet, so he seems okay.
Yeah. Well, let's slide in. The disclaimer is that all of this is for educational purposes, and if obviously there are any health concerns, to obviously seek medical professional help. The thing is, with a doctor, like a question is it safe to take without doctor's consent? Well, you should always, like I will say, we all make choices. You should talk to your doctor and the person who's giving you medication or supplement advice, because they, if you even trusted someone to look after your health and well-being and they're giving you advice on certain medication or supplements, then they will probably have a better understanding of why they've given it to you. And so if you go to implement these things, it may have an adverse reaction. And as long as they know, you're not going like, why did I have a seizure, or why did this thing happen? It's like, well, we introduced this new product, or it affected this medication. So if you want to keep using that, we might have to change that medication, because you always want to have awareness of what's going on. So I thought I'd just add that as a disclaimer there for the ones with doctors.
Yeah, definitely.
How many drops of it would you give to someone as an example if you've had a stressful day?
Yep. So for the relaxer, standard serve is 2 mils. And so if I've had for someone that's had a stressful day, 2 to 3 serves, like one serve whenever you're feeling that stress, that anxiety, that kind of overwhelm throughout the day. A second one, once you finish work, like you've knocked off, you've left that stressful environment or the source of that just to help calm you down. And then another one before bed. But like anything, personal tolerance and dose is worth noting. Like anything, I always suggest people to start on the minimal effective dose. So, when you start it, see how it makes you feel. Some people, they can have, one dropper, so literally 1 mil, and they just feel themselves just sink back into their chair, and they're like, okay, I can relax, and that's enough for them. Other people might take a little bit longer to notice those effects as well. So I would start with 2 mils and see what you notice, and then use that as your gauge to how you then use it. Following on from that, to my knowledge, I've tested the limits of how much you can take with these supplements to see if there is any negative repercussions at any extent. I haven't noticed any with the Relax, with the Lion's Mane, or with the Lucid. I took 6 serves a day and did that consistently for a week, and then started to notice my forearms got quite itchy. And so I don't know if this might be me just creating this positive effect, but I did some research into it, and the closest thing that I could find was that's a common symptom of increased nerve growth factor, increasing that, which is a cool effect to know that it's having that kind of impact. But most people aren't going to need to take that level for that amount of time. I haven't tried any of these and then had an instant reaction of, for example, you have shots of coffee in an hour, and you're going to be trembling, your heart's going to be beating out of your chest, and you're going to be like, I need to sit down, I'm in trouble.
That's your nerve endings being rebuilt. Yep.
Yeah, that's just you getting ready to blast off into space.
With that, just tying teddies is like, that's tincture. And totally, like, if anyone ever wants to know what it's like, just, tastes like ass, just powdered version. But why not look at a flavored powdered version? Like, you've got Four Sigmatic, which you've done a blend with coffee and the lion's mane.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you go tincture version?
So I started with a tincture version because that was the first way that I consumed it. So that's what I was exposed to, and just went down that rabbit hole. Looking into the powdered form, it requires a huge vat spray drying machine to be able to do that, which I guess for you guys, I actually hand make all of these myself at home. So it's not this big warehouse that does all that. So I don't have access to that kind of machinery
yet.
And that was the main reason behind like why picking that tincture. Obviously with the brain juice, I do use powder. So I have had to source that from external areas, but I have had to be particular about the ones that I use, because something that's worth being mindful of, like with those other powders, is the benefits from mushrooms come in the mushroom extracts. So like I said before, the medicinal benefits come from alcohol extraction and hot water extraction. On the back of those packets, unless it says, cordyceps extract, chaga extract, whatever mushroom it is, it's just a powdered version of the mushroom, which, whilst it's better than nothing, you may not be getting as much of the benefits that you think you would if you were getting a extracted version. It's kind of like that, or just some things are more bioavailable than others. Like you can eat corn and it comes out the same way it went in. Not very bioavailable. Whereas if you eat other foods that are either pre-digested or broken up into a way that your body can actually use them, then you're much more likely to get the benefits that you're actually taking it for.
And another one is like, I take a form of medication, antidepressants. Focus, is it okay to have both? Supplement helps focus, right? I wonder if I can just take the supplement instead. I'd say talk to your local GP, and check out Harry's previous episode, which talks about the hierarchy of health. I'm not saying get rid of antidepressants, I'm saying there may be triggers and stressors that are underlying that we talked about in the previous episode, which was looking at not the symptom, but the cause of what it is. This, I think, from the sounds of it, could be something that could help. So if if we play on devil's advocate, I'm someone who's stressed, I'm overworked, I can't just quit my job, right? And I can't, my partner, he is an a-hole. I've been with him for 10 years. I can't just neck the guy. Well, I could, but that'd be illegal. So, there's symptoms, but to address the cause right away, a lot of us are in a state of effect, so we can't just take action right away. And for PTs, it's like we're working with clients, we tell them to do something, they come back the next week. How'd you go? Oh, yeah, I ate the chocolate cake. My bad. So like this, do you see this as being something as an interim to help someone kind of like, they're here, we want to get them to here, and this is something that's just something that can guide them slowly and make it a little bit easier to get to that other side?
Yeah, so like any supplement, really, it's there to supplement the healthy lifestyle changes that you're already putting in place. So whilst the relax is helpful for a lot of people for stress, for anxiety, for sleep, if you're trying to use that to counteract the 10 cups of coffee and pre-workout that you had, plus all the other stress that's going on, it's going to be an uphill battle. But if you're using that as a tool, as part of the approach to, okay, I just need something that's going to give me that extra, couple of seconds to decide how I want to handle this situation instead of reacting emotionally. It's just going to help me get that little bit better sleep so that I can decide, or is this really what I want to be doing? Is this how I want to handle these situations? And then can have that mindset a little bit clearer. Because naturally, when you get better sleep and you've got a clearer mind, you can make better decisions. You've got a higher threshold to stress, and you carry that on long enough, and it's much easier to deal with those things that stress you out. It's much easier to have those conversations with the arsehole, decide whether you're going to leave him or kick his ass into line or whatever you want to do. So it's using it as a tool, as well as those other factors to support that.
With Primal, what's the vision you have for Primal Energies coming?
So the little slogan that I kind of carry across Primal and a lot of the things that I do is I want to help, like the first number is 100,000 people. I want to help 100,000 people to stress less, sleep better, and perform at their best. Because with that combination of things, I don't see how anyone doesn't benefit. Like we were saying, like in the previous call, like if you've got one person that is stressing less so they can sleep better, so they can show up better at work as a dad or a mum, to their relationship, to do these things. It's not just that individual that benefits, it's also the people within their environment, within their life, within their circles of influence that starts to also benefit, because they get a more effective communicator as a partner. They get a parent who's more present because they're not stressed out all the time. They get, whether it's a boss, an employee, a manager, whoever at work, that's more present, that's more effective, that has better communication, so that, you're not walking on eggshells all the time. And then naturally those people perform better. And so it starts to lift the energy, the performance, the vibe of people collectively. And so I have that's kind of my mission, to help people do that through the tools that I provide, in terms of both the supplements, but then also any resources, like helping people to manage their stress better, or to sleep better, and do things like that.
With saying that, tincture version, like, I love it, though for a lot of people, like, I guess the question here to ask would be, where should someone start? So let's say we've got a trainer, we're exercising 4 times a week, we're starting to take control of our nutrition, and then there's this whole thing called supplements. And you've got, you mentioned magnesium before, we've got coffee. Some people, they say they eat it, that's their breakfast, but it's really a supplement to make, like, to cover the Band-Aid, right? So when you're talking with someone, you've got Primal Energy, so you've got a resource that you control, which is awesome. Are you like, yep, everyone has to go Primal Energies first? Or are there certain people you go, I recommend magnesium and different types before using Primal Energies? How do you pair those?
First of all, I think everyone should take magnesium, just as a blanket statement. I don't think anybody would get enough magnesium, especially people that are lifting weights and training regularly. I don't think anyone would get enough magnesium to support adequate recovery, sleep, and the 300 cofactors that magnesium is associated within the body. So I think that should be prevalent, almost as like creatine in most training people's supplement regime. And so then, as having those as your staples, if you call it that, then looking at, if someone comes to me and says, Harry, I want more energy, or I want better brain function, I want to have more focus, then my first recommendation or guidance is not to, here's this supplement, here's this stimulant or anything, but it's, what's your stress like and what's your sleep like? And so both of them. And so the first thing for a lot of people is, like, do you have a sleep routine? Right? Do you have the same thing that you do for the last 30 to 60 minutes before bed, pretty close to every night? If you don't, awesome. Let's start there. And then, some simple cues on that. If you're kind of not too sure where to start, dim the lights, use candles, rock salt lamps, things like that, and spend time off screens. Either read, do some meditation or some journal, or talk to your partner, God forbid, hopefully they're not an asshole.
More witchcraft.
Yeah.
What? So hang on, go back. No screens for like the last 60 minutes and then talk to my partner. What? Why?
Because you deserve to be punished. That's why. And so, like, with that, there's inside that framework, you can do whatever really works for you. I don't expect everyone to sit there and meditate, or to read or to journal if that's not your thing. But doing things that resonate with you. For some people, it will be reading. Other people, it will be journaling or meditating or have a bath or, get everything ready for the next day, whether that's, pack your work or your gym bag for the morning or, talk to your partner or do things that don't require a screen. It might be some stretching or some yoga if you want to do something a bit more physical, if you're feeling a little bit tight or jacked up from the day. Foam rolling, maybe.
Yeah. With for a lot of people that they're on their screens and they're on their devices, isn't there a side benefit to Reishi that helps with that? Like melatonin production, the gland, doesn't it do something there?
Like getting off the screens?
Yeah, so like getting off the screen helps with like your melatonin production, but for a lot of people they might still be on their screens at nighttime scrolling. Doesn't the Relax have something in it that helps with that?
In terms of the melatonin release,
Yeah.
not to my knowledge.
So what is Reishi doing then? Like why is that, like why are the products that you have there, the rhodiola and the chamomile, what are those three things doing to the body?
So rhodiola and reishi are known as adaptogens. So they help your body to adapt to stress. And so if you're too far above or below homeostasis, it will help to adapt to that stress and kind of balance you out. And so that's why it's non-drowsy in the sense that you can have it during the day to help you kind of balance out, or you can have it in the evening to just bring you back to that point. And if you're dimming the lights, using your blue light blocking glasses or off screens and, continually winding down, then that will help you go into that drowsy, sleepy, ready for bed state. But that alone won't put you into a sleep coma.
Right. So it's just helping the body get out of the high cortisol state sooner, so then they can get on top of that melatonin, like the cortisol decline, melatonin rise.
Yep.
And taking off the screen will help that sooner.
Yep, definitely. Because it takes a while for our brain to start releasing that melatonin so that you can actually get to sleep. And so as long as we're on screens or exposed to bright overhead lights, then it's telling our brain that, hey, it's not time for bed yet. Don't release melatonin. Don't start to wind down. And so by dimming the lights, using below eye line lights, getting off the screens, then it starts to send those internal signals that, hey, it's time to go to sleep, start to release melatonin and start to shut everything down and get ready. Because if you don't go through that process, one of two things will happen. Either you'll get into bed and you won't be able to sleep because internally you haven't switched off. Like your mind will still run a million miles an hour and then you'll lay there for hours just overthinking everything. Or you'll be so exhausted from the day that you'll just pass out, but then you wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning with all this stuff on your mind, and your brain then kicks back into that high adrenaline cortisol spike thing. Okay, you've had enough sleep. Let's go back to thinking about all that shit that you didn't deal with yesterday. And then you're up at some ungodly hour and it ruins your day.
Let's not ruin the day, but for most people, most of us, we want to have a better day. We want to have a better body. And, we're building our careers as trainers or coaches, and we're working, we want to be more effective in what we do to get the most out of every hour of every day. Other than the hierarchy, because, we've got the hierarchy of health, where, I guess, to Primal Energies, where would you slot those in? Would you be like, I'd start with Relax first because of XYZ, or would you be starting with Lucid? Like, what would be your hierarchy of suggestions here?
So for someone that their stress or their sleep is like the big underlying factor of why they're not getting the results that they want to, or why that they're needing to change, then the Relax, focusing on their sleep and regulating the nervous system is going to be your number one. Then for people that are heavily addicted to caffeine, like coffees or stimulants, and feel like they need that as part of their day, then brain juice is the second one. Because yes, you can use the Lucid or cordyceps for that brain function and that energy on top of improving your sleep, but if you're trying to replace coffee, it doesn't quite have that same experience of like sipping that drink, right? Whether you're on the gym floor or you're sitting at your office, part of, for me at least anyway, the enjoyment of coffee is the taste, is the experience. And so that's where the brain juice helps to pivot that, in that you can still have that experience, still have that hot or cold drink, make it exactly the same you would as your coffee, whether you like it black, white, iced, hot, foamy, whatever. But you can have that's going to give you a gentle increase in your mood, your creativity, your focus, your energy, but it's not going to fry your nervous system. It's not going to give you this sharp increase and then consequently this crash. It's not going to impact your sleep if you have it later in the day. And so it can be a good transition from copious amounts of caffeine into reducing that, so that you can then be more aware of, do I actually need this amount of stimulants? How can I reduce this so that I can get better sleep, and start to string a few of those wins together?
Yeah, awesome. Love it. Is it addictive? Can you overdose? It's addictive because it works. Feeling better is addictive.
Yeah, pretty damn good. Like I personally have 2 on an average day, two of the brain juice, and I don't notice any negative impacts. I don't have that sharp increase in jitters, in anxiety, in stress, in anything like that I would say from coffee. There's, to my knowledge, I don't think you could overdose or have any negative impacts like that, because it is ceremonial cacao, especially if it depends on either like what milk you add to it, or if you add that or just kind of have it black. Think of it kind of like a nice dark chocolate, in the sense that when you have dark chocolate, like you have some, you're like, okay, that was nice, I'm good. It's not moreish like milk chocolate is, where you can quite easily subconsciously just devour a whole block and you're like, shit, where'd it go? Right.
How does someone get on top of this? Like, I want to order some. How do I get it?
So you can go to primalenergies.org is the website, or you can just find me on Instagram at Primal Energies, and check out the website's there, the content's there. Or if you're still not sure, got any questions on something particular or how it may or may not be kind of useful for you, send me a message on there, and I'm happy to have a chat, happy to help out.
Okay. What is so we've got 100,000 people is the future, to help them stress less, sleep better, and perform at a better level. What else? What other ambitions, goals, drives do we have with Primal?
So at the moment, I have to slow myself down in terms of the product side of things, because naturally that's where I like to play, just to fuck around with that kind of stuff. But as a one-man operation, if I'm spending all my time doing that, there's not a whole lot of action or momentum in any other part of the thing that actually makes it a business. So at the moment, I'm working on the branding and the content, the imagery of Primal, so that the way that I feel about it and the value and quality that I hold it to, that people get that impression when they see the website and the Instagram. Because you look at it at the moment and it still looks like a one-man operation, which it is. But in terms of being able to impact that many people, then that is a big factor that a lot of people like to have, I guess, as a security piece, that this is professional. It's not just this one guy. So that's my play in, and then also trying to grow the affiliates and the connections that I have within like the health and wellness community. So I'm a big believer in relationships and helping each other to grow. Like, of the people that are current affiliates and are kind of supporting Primal, I won't allow anyone to do that. And this is maybe my fault as a poor business owner, but I won't allow anyone to endorse it that hasn't tried and personally loved it, because I value authenticity and honesty extremely highly. So even if someone is a high-level influencer or super famous or whatever, if they personally haven't seen benefit from it, then I don't want them to promote it, because that comes across as ingenuine. So that's one of my takes this year, is being able to reach more people that have, I guess, a personal investment in getting their clients and their people that they influence results. Because for me personally, as a coach myself, if I recommend something that doesn't really work, I look like a fool, and it wrecks my reputation with my client. So I'm also looking for other coaches and other people that more inclined to use natural supplements and remedies and things like this to then support each other, so that each person kind of along the chain benefits, really.
Is there a timing for it to use it for? Whom do you recommend?
In terms of timing, I personally wouldn't use it within 2 hours of going to sleep. But I know other people that have used it for their, I guess that's within 2 hours of going to sleep, would use it for their 5 or 6 p.m. session and then be in bed by 8:30 and have no qualms kind of sleeping. Again, coming back to personal tolerance. So potentially try it in the middle of the day when you can afford to have that long tailwind. If it does affect you like that, try it out, see what you notice, and then you can find that personal sweet spot for you. And for whom I'd recommend, straight cordyceps is for people that want energy. It works as a great pre-workout as well. Like, it won't give you a massive rush like stimulant-based pre-workouts will. But the difference that I notice with cordyceps as a pre-workout is it's like when you're doing cardio and you feel yourself climbing in the zones. Get out of zone 1, you're in zone 2, zone 3, okay, zone 4, we're pushing now, and you get to that, you climbing up, and you get to that point where, okay, I'm maintaining this pace, but I feel like I can only maintain this for like 30, 40 seconds, maybe a minute. But then because of the increase in ATP and the increase in your lungs' ability to utilize the oxygen, you're able to maintain that pace for a lot longer. And so for me, it's a lot more prevalent in endurance, in noticing those benefits.
Awesome. Well, that brings us to a wrap of Mr. Authentic himself, who believes purely in the brand that it must work for it to really be endorsed by anyone. So that's really cool, the authenticity there with Primal Energies. Harry, it's been a pleasure to have you on. And until next time, adios, amigos.
Thank you very much, Dave.